Evening, Chinook and Steelhead members. Here is your forecast for Thursday, August 19th. Deep into the buoy 10 season, we have a shift of tides now that we're starting to see the beginning of the strong outgoing tide series right now. There have been guides the last couple of days, and today particularly, getting some fish in the lower end of the river on the last trickle of outgoing tide. That should be the scenario for tomorrow. Keep in mind that it is a minus tide tomorrow, so the tide's going to run a bit stronger for a bit longer on these minus tides, even though the tide table says that low tide happens before sunrise. We will indeed see some strong outgoing current for the first hour, maybe hour and a half of the morning. So you'll have a short window of opportunity to catch those Chinook. That's been one of the better times of the tide to catch Chinook this season, is the last hour of outgoing tide, and that should be the case tomorrow morning as well. So target your Chinook between buoys 14 and 12, buoys 12 and 10, and expect to see some Chinook opportunities if you get out there early. Of course, the Chinook wing jetties, probably from wing jetty 1 down to the A jetty out of Ilwaco, should also produce some Chinook opportunities too. So the incoming tide bite, there might be a few Chinook on the first part of incoming tide. There should also be some Coho, but the Coho bite at buoy 10, even though we're going to come into a stronger tide series, hasn't been robust as of late, but that should change as we get into stronger incoming tides a little bit later into the weekend. So hard to say how the Coho fishing will be because we haven't been able to get out in the ocean. It's going to be pretty rough tomorrow. So it's hard to gauge how close to the mouth those Coho are going to be, and possibly experiencing that vacuum effect, which bring them past the buoy 10 line, even though they're not necessarily ready to commit to the river ecosystem just yet. So incoming tide is probably going to be mediocre in different places. We're starting to get to a strong enough tide where hover fishing both at Hammond and at the Astoria Bridge are going to become productive options. And then certainly I would expect to see somewhat of a repeat performance of a high tide bite above the bridge on the Oregon side, hopefully on the Washington side as well. I don't think that really materialized today, but it certainly did on the Oregon side in the anchorage from the tongue point down through the first half of the drift into downtown Astoria. So, you know, you always speculate that it's going to be a repeat performance, but certainly far from consistent on a day-to-day basis. So Washington could indeed be the hot spot at high tide tomorrow. Always tough to tell, but you know, that Anchorage troll should produce some opportunities again as well. So and then, you know, we get into another late outgoing tide, bottom of the tide possibility, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I don't expect that to maintain any level of consistency. That bite seems to be waning, so don't bank on that like I did today, although it's been good the previous 3 days. So going to be a morning show. The wind hasn't been bad. It's supposed to be a little more prevalent tomorrow. The river is always a wild card. Fish weather has become a wild card as far as a wind prediction app, but we're in peak season. We got that going for us. So get out there, keep them turning, and good luck if you get out. And I wanted to add one fun fact. My friend, the SS Love Boat, I found out from a reliable source today that the moorage fee for that COVID collective is about $6,000 a day. So what do I got to complain about?